All right. Now, which one of you folks told Missouri that they have a college football program? Who the hell told them that? Speak up. Tell us who did it, because I want to know. Killing me. Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss a moment of Hall of Fame college football. We've got a few guests we're going to have in here tonight. We're going to talk about quite a few different things. I'm going to start off with, I don't know why, but we're going to start off talking crap about Mizzou. But first off, I want to bring in my first guest for the night. He is the host of Fourth and Goal with C-Walt. C-Walt, the realist. What's up, my man?
How you been? Hey, what's going on, Jason, man? Pretty good. Appreciate you having me in here again.
Hey, man, I enjoy having you. Welcome to the show. You found a lively one, I think. Welcome into the show, everybody. Timothy Green, our boy from West Virginia. We appreciate this. Thank you very much, man. Make sure you do like and subscribe. Wipe your feet, as Wilkerson says as he jumps in here. Hey, man, that's my guy right there. Just letting everybody know how to get it done. That's exactly what we need from you. Okay. Now, hold on real quick. I think Cody's trying to get in. Okay, yeah. He's got it. All right. What's up, Hankster, Wilkerson, Timothy Green? Who else we got in here? Folks, Hank, was it you that told Missouri that they matter or mean something in the college football universe or something? Hank, did you troll them and tell them that? Because I don't understand. These guys all day, man, all day. As we kind of suspected, Caden Green, who jumped into the portal about a week ago, made his decision to go to Missouri for whatever reason. He's a homegrown guy from Kansas City, so it kind of makes sense, particularly when he's best friends with Williams Nwaneri, who decided to go there and chase that bag as well. I don't have a problem with all that. I just want to know who the hell told these guys that they matter. C-Walt, you know when the last time they won a conference championship is?
No, I don't.
Back in the Big 8 days. The Big 8 days. The Big 8 days in 1960, which up until 2007 was also the last year that they had a 10-win season. And they're talking smack to Oklahoma fans all day. It's so cute.
you know, it's now they can say they've been in the SEC longer, so Oklahoma's coming over and they want to feel like they're the big brothers right now.
Right.
Everybody pounds their chest when they're in the SEC.
Yeah, I think the overall record is like 67 and 25 or something like that all time for Oklahoma, which means they beat OU about once every 10 years. Yeah. So pretty funny stuff, really. What else we got in here? Okay, Neilio, man, our guy from KC Mo, and I know he has no love for Missouri. He is a K-State guy. So, thank you for the super chat, sir. Here's to a great show, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Jason from Neil in South Plaza in KC Mo. Yeah, man. I mean, glad to see you here as usual. Our fan base trash. Yes, we will get into this as well. I couldn't say that with a straight face. My life depends on it. Okay, now Hank. Okay, all right, I believe you. Yes, we know Green was homesick. No, he was. Okay, so apparently what really happened, because I think we were all under the impression, and Gabe was put under the impression that Oklahoma did match whatever it was that he was demanding money-wise for his, 7 starts as a freshman. Okay. I don't see it. I don't see it. So, yeah, I don't know. Apparently, according to he made the first demand, they met it. Then the second one came around, and either BB or BV said, take a hike if that's what you want to do. That's the latest thing you're hearing. Now, one way or the other, whichever one is true, if he's homesick and wants to not be part of the program, so be it. I mean, look, for all the people that think that Missouri matters at this point, you got to remember something. They've paid for a receiver, a defensive tackle, and now Caden Green, an offensive lineman. Good for them. That's one of these positions. Williams Neri is going to get schemed right out of there being the only dude there. Schemed right out of the game. You got to have multiple guys at the defensive line position to eat up blocks, or you're not going anywhere. Especially in the SEC, it's just not going to happen. But I digress. I don't know what to say. The last time they won a conference championship was 1960. They up until 2007, that was also the last time that they won 10 games, and they've done that 5 times since 2007. Whoop-de-doo. Oklahoma won 6 straight conference championships during that same time. So I don't know.
Hey, Jason, is that going to become a like a protected rival or anything?
I believe it is. Which is whatever. If it goes to the 3-6-6 model, which I think they were going to wait until this year and see kind of how the first season goes or whatever. They may have another vote on it. Oklahoma and Texas didn't get to vote on it this last time, or else it probably would have passed. Right now, they just have the one protected rival, and I think that it's going to kind of be what it is. But let's see, Mike. Yeah, hey, Kimberly K. Thank you. You're always faithful on here as well. They lost to OU twice in 2007. Yeah, they it happens. It happens. Yeah, that 2007 season, their first 10-win season in freaking 50 years, almost 47 years. Yeah, that makes sense. And they lost twice to Oklahoma that same season. Awesome. Went to 2 SEC championship games, but got blown out. Yeah, because the SEC East was garbage at that time. That was right after freaking Urban trashed Florida on his way out. Yeah, and Georgia was not that good, right? I mean, that was just how it was.
Yep.
So it is what it is. Neilio, yeah. Let's see, where did Neilio? I know Neilio was like, yeah, I hate him. Hey, Bloody Guns, Kerwin Terry. Hey, Kerwin. Hey, want to say hello to all our members, everybody who's in here. Thank you so much for coming in. Please make sure you wipe your feet. We have 14 likes and there's 50 people in here right now. So come on, crank it up. Here we go. Gotta stop trashing quarterbacks. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, look, here's the one thing I'm going to say about it. I'm not even bad-mouthing Caden Green. I don't care. Look, here's the one thing I can show you this little I made this little graphic earlier. When it comes to Caden Green, now look, he can chase the money or go home and be home, but I want everybody to look at this list of of offensive linemen Bill Bedenbaugh currently has in the NFL right now, which is wild. But if you notice, there's a bunch of them that are in KC, a bunch of them. So, you've got Reed and now Wanya Morris. Let's see. I know there was at least one more. I was thinking there was, but maybe not. Well, no, they also have a tight end from here as well. But I know for sure, and we've heard things come out of Coach Reed's mouth that he loves what they do with their offensive linemen. He trusts in them. I mean, when you got a guy like Creed Humphrey, he's the man, right? Best center in the league, him or Kelsey, one of the two. And I think it's definitely him at this point. But then in Wanya Morris, and all these guys, there's 11 of them, all but one was in the first or second round. So it's pretty wild, man. Wild stuff.
Yeah, that's one position at Oklahoma I never really worry about is the offensive line, honestly. I mean, I would have loved for Clemson to jump on board and try to get Caden Green.
Listen, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. Old Dabo's still digging them heels in on that transfer portal stuff, isn't he? Hey, listen, I mean, it is kind of is what it is, and the portal is, and right now it's wacky season. This is wacky season, man. It's you're seeing a lot of folks jumping around and going to different places. USC appears to be continually hemorrhaging, and defensive players, even though they brought in this guy and Anton Lynn, that everybody thinks is supposed to be the next best thing. Yeah, you absolutely loathe them. I love that, Neilio. I never really think about them. I just got to say, I never really think about them until this year, and more since Oklahoma and Texas were slated to come in to the SEC next season. I've heard more crap on videos from whiny Mizzou fans that we tried to leave the Big 12 so we didn't have to deal with you in Texas no more. It's so lame, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, he was at yep, you're right. He's at Cincy now. Is that up here? Yeah, Orlando Brown. That's Orlando Brown. Yes. Look at that. I mean, yeah, and you're right, man. I mean, Trent Williams, best freaking left tackle of all time. He's still kicking the shit out of everybody, and he's been in the league forever. Probably the most feared man out there. Hey, look, good for them. And look, I understand that Missouri is doing its best to keep some of these homegrown guys at home. Who else you gonna get? Who else you gonna get though? Good for you guys. Oklahoma wins most of the battles in Oklahoma. And then now they're recruiting pretty well in Florida. They've always done well in Texas and California. So this idea that all of a sudden Mizzou matters is funny to me. Funny. And they played a crap schedule this season. The two teams that they played that were really good, LSU, and LSU didn't have a defense and they couldn't beat them, but they lost to LSU, they lost to Georgia. And then, hell, it took a 65 freaking yard field goal at home to beat a K-State team that is really probably the worst K-State team we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
they still competed. They still competed, and I respect K-State, but it wasn't their best team. I think Neilio would admit that. Look, yeah, now I know that probably bugged you. I don't want to trigger you there. Orlando Brown was a 3-star, got him a ring. Yeah, look, Sooner Cowboys, you're not wrong. I mean, that's the thing is that for all the people that are complaining and worried about what Bill Bedenbaugh isn't doing, who he's not getting, look, all you got to do is look at this list of linemen that are in the league and where they went. And you can look at most of these guys. I mean, were any of these dudes 5 stars? Because I don't think so, right? Maybe Trent. So it is what it is, man. They're not a rival. Yeah, I mean, and I really wish that Greg Sankey would stop saying that. Stop calling them a freaking rival, because they're not. They've won freaking 25 times in 100 freaking years. Once in 10 years or whatever. All right. Let's see. K9 was a 3-star. Who said that? Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Let's see. Trent was a 3-star. Golly. There's proof that it's not an exact science, folks. Not an exact science whatsoever. Now, let's get rid of this here. What do you guys think of that? And I don't know who's been arguing with them and getting them all stirred up or whatever, but they are of the opinion that there's something else, right? Just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Who wins more games next year, us or Missouri? Well, if you look at the schedule, there's a possibility that Missouri could, I guess, because they just don't have much of a schedule. I think that they're on the road at Alabama. Let's go look at it real quick. We can pull that up too. And that's the thing. I think that, again, you looking at a situation where they've gotten into some lucky scheduling for this past year because Drink was on his way out. If he didn't win big, they were going to kick him out of there. So to me, I don't know, man. It just seems weird. Let's see. Game 1. I mean, they're out of conference schedule. Let's see who Mizzou's got. Doesn't look like they play in week 1. Really? No, they do. Murray State. Ooh, Murray State. Good job. Then here, let me just share this too. Oops. All right, in week 2. Buffalo at Missouri. Then Boston College at Missouri in week 3. Then week 4, Vanderbilt at Missouri. Yep. It's a good schedule, I'll tell you. Looks like they're off week 5. That's going to be their bye week, which means that they're going into A&M after that. Okay. Again, they still haven't played really anybody yet.
Possibly one loss so far.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Maybe one loss. Yeah. And then they go to UMass the week after that. Auburn at Missouri. Yeah, there's another loss probably.
I think Auburn's going to be a tricky team next year.
Hey, man. I mean, Freeze has done a good job wherever he's been. He wins games, and he's doing a pretty good job. We're going to see how he does in the recruiting tomorrow, but
yeah,
I mean, maybe that's a toss-up game. The week after that, they're at Alabama. You know they're losing that one, so they've either got 2 or 3 losses at that point. Then looks like they're off again. Yeah, and then Oklahoma. No, you're losing that one, boys. Especially all the bullshit you're talking.
Carolina. I think that's a W.
Yeah, that might be a W. I knew that you'd say that too. Yeah. Oh man, but Carolina's doing really good in the portal, which I don't think we can say for Clemson. But
that's true. They're doing better than us for sure.
Yeah. Then they're at Mississippi State. Maybe Jeff Levy will get them. That might be his first win in the SEC at that point. I hadn't really looked at his schedule too hard yet. Arkansas at Missouri. Yeah, they ought to win that. I mean, come on. We're not looking at a freaking schedule that's just killer aside from a couple of games, right?
I think it would be a disappointment for them if they lost 4 games.
Well, yeah, but would it be? I mean, 8 wins is more than he had won up until last year. It was more than it would be more than he'd won yet. I mean, he was getting ready to get fired. There you go. I like this. Stephen G. PJ won't allow us to lose when we play misery. I could see that. Until they win a conference championship while I'm alive, I'm never giving them credit. I agree. I would have to agree. I'll say this. If Mizzou follows up this past season with another strong performance, I think people will start to give them huge credit to what they're doing, except for the fact we just looked at their schedule. I mean, aside from Oklahoma and Alabama, I mean, show me the real threat. I mean, they should win the rest of them. They may not. I think they could lose to Auburn, and I think they could lose to A&M. But, maybe not.
I think the combination of the divisions hurts teams like Missouri in the long run.
The divisions,
yeah.
If it goes to the 3-6-6, where you're playing good teams every other year for sure. Whether you're going to play Oklahoma every year if it goes to the 3-6-6 because that's been out there, but that probably means that you're going to get. They don't even have LSU this year. They don't have Georgia. They don't have Ole Miss. They got Mississippi State instead. I mean, this schedule is almost as easy as Texas. Texas has 2 tough games back to back, and then if they split with Oklahoma and Georgia and they don't get into the conference championship game, then they gagged all over themselves. Texas did.
While we're on this topic, I'm not trying to change the subject, but I mean, Georgia has looked up over the past few years too, and they're finally getting the schedule next year also.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah. So
Look, and that for that matter, Oklahoma, because of the Georgia game getting canceled by Sankey, it's been ugly on the out of conference games and stuff.
yeah,
You know, there's definitely nobody in Oklahoma minds playing whoever it is, you know, out of conference. They'll play anybody. So it wasn't anything like that, but it's just now you have to backfill with it. But yeah, they've definitely got, well, with Georgia, they're on the road at Alabama, at Texas. You know, so that both of those games are going to be tough. I mean, you know, they've got a heck of a schedule. It's going to be tough for them. Let's see. Yeah, Phil Bender. Over in the loop, Phil Bender, he's finally tapped into the uber rich donors over there, and mainly to keep those St. Louis kids in state. Yeah. Well, I mean, Luther Burden, they did a hell of a job getting him. Smart, right? But there is no more SEC East anymore, Kerwin. That's over with. That's over with as of this year. You know, there are no more divisions at all. You're still gonna play everybody at least every 2 or 3 years. With the 8-game schedule, I don't know exactly how it's going. If you go to the 9-game schedule, which I think they're still trying to get a little more money out of ESPN, but when it goes to the 9-game schedule, which I think it does, they'll have every team every other year, and then 3 teams protected rivals that you play every season, and then the other 6 will split every other year. Yeah. And us is catching the clap from James. You are the man. Hold on a minute, real quick. Let me find this here. Yeah, that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. Let's give it some claps there for that. Little clap for the clap. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I like that. Yes, I did, man. He was really good. He was really good, man. The Army All-American Bowl. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but unfortunately, Jimmy, if it had been, Oklahoma wouldn't have made it in because they were number 12 according to everything, and so that would have put them at they would have been number 12 overall. So, and they're going to put in one of those group of 5 schools into it, no matter what, the highest ranked group of 5, which would have been Liberty.
Well, they might have actually dropped Florida State and put y'all in.
Ooh.
That's so wrong.
You think it's wrong? I don't care.
No, I mean, I think it was the right choice.
I mean, I didn't think they were going to win the national championship with Travis, but I sure as hell don't think they were going to. I think freaking Georgia's going to put 50 on them. You know,
we talked about this, but at the end of the day, had Florida State convincingly beat Louisville, maybe they got in, but the groundwork was set the week before. They basically let the cat out of the bag. You know, it's not who's deserving; it's the best team, and that was the groundwork to say Jordan Travis is. You know, his injury makes them not the best team.
Yeah, look, and I think that it required Alabama beating Georgia at the end of the year after the way it went. If it hadn't went that way, they probably still end up letting them in.
Yeah, they have to at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I still think it was, it was still crazy, man. Over the decades, Mizzou's biggest obstacle in their way is their own selves and the wrong leadership. Yeah, I think their money peeps finally spoke. But okay, well, before we go anointing Missouri, let's remember that last year South Carolina was really good. They beat the crap out of freaking Clemson. They beat the crap out of freaking Tennessee. You know, I mean, they looked like they were really, really good. And what did they do this year? They turned around and turned really bad. So, I mean, these teams that every once in a while, you know, they look pretty good. I mean, Mike Leach looked pretty good at Mississippi State a couple of times. That doesn't make Mississippi State a very good program. So until they win something, I mean, hey man, I think pigs are liable to fly out of my ass if they win a conference championship in the SEC. I think it's just as liable to happen, folks. I really do.
I'm not sure that's happening anytime soon, regardless of what they do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just don't see it, man. They're going to have to prove it, no doubt about it. I mean, who? Why would you believe it?
Yeah, so
no, it was a light schedule. It was a light schedule. Who did they play this year? They played Georgia and they played LSU and K-State in the non-con. The rest of them, they beat Kentucky, who had an off year. You know, they beat, was it Florida?
Listen, the majority of the SEC was not that great this year.
Not
I don't
very
care what
good
anybody says.
No, it wasn't. I mean, that's the truth. You know, I mean, Vanderbilt, they're going to beat Vanderbilt because they play them every year. And then they got Tennessee. That was probably their best win was Tennessee. And they're just barely hanging on by a thread to the top 25 at this point. You know, I still don't know how they're a top 25 team.
You're talking about Tennessee?
Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think they were that good. So, I mean, look, and we know that, you know, as good as Kentucky has been at times over the last 4 or 5 years, you know, since Stoops got there, they weren't that good this year. So, I don't know. Looks like we got Coach I coming in at some point. And let's see, are you just coming in with voice or what? Coach I?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
What's going on, Coach?
You had to get it started today, didn't you, with old Mizzou, didn't you?
Hey, all I did was post the clip.
I don't even care, bro.
I want to get to this comment C-Walt talk about the past couple of years Georgia done had an easy schedule. Did we beat y'all in 2021?
Hey, yeah, y'all beat us 10-3. Y'all did beat us.
But the score doesn't matter.
Was the difference.
The score doesn't matter. In 2018, I seem to remember y'all having the C-Walt schedule. So, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Hey, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. You got the championship. I'm just saying it's
so
a lot
last
harder
year in
next
2022,
year.
we played Oregon to start the year. We played y'all in 2021 to start the year. We played Georgia Tech every year that y'all played every year. I mean, and then we beat LSU along the way, Michigan, Alabama. What are we talking about here? Last year, 2023
my
was
point
an easy schedule. 2023 was an easy schedule, but 2022 and 2021 wasn't easy. I'm not saying it was super hard, but you said we had an easy schedule. How was that?
Well, easy compared to other teams in the country. Y'all had one of the easiest routes to the playoffs.
Not that particular year. So tell me who in 2022 that was a title contender that had a harder schedule. Ohio State didn't.
So who did you play non-conference in 2022?
Oregon, and we played Georgia Tech every year. We can't help. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, well, you know what that outcome is before you even look at the schedule.
And we started the year with Oregon. What? Tell me who Ohio State played last year.
Well, I'm never big on the Big Ten as a whole. You know, two teams there. That's it.
TCU and Michigan were the other two finalists. So compared to the finalists, we actually had the harder schedule.
Yeah, hey.
Think about that.
I would just say
you are getting taken to task here. Coach came in throwing hooks.
Like, dog, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, like, y'all don't make one year.
Who the fuck is that guy?
This year was an easy schedule because Oklahoma got canceled. That's all. If Oklahoma hadn't got canceled, nobody would have been talking about our schedule.
Well, what I'm saying is, when it comes to the SEC, y'all typically get to avoid Alabama. I mean, seriously, unless you play them in the championship game, it's like.
That's it. We're the other hard team in the conference, so of course we avoid everybody.
Actually, this season it did look better. The better teams of the SEC, or at least out of the East, they had to play them on. They beat the crap out of all of them.
We beat the shit out of Tennessee last year, and Tennessee was a top team. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just because that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we don't play Alabama, but who else is considered hard in the SEC? Because to go on to say We had an easy
Well,
schedule
I
in
personally
2022.
don't think the SEC is that difficult to start with.
So what conference is?
Well, if we're looking at this year, I'm gonna go out and say
That's what I said. I said
best.
we had an easy schedule this year. Your comment said the past few years. That meant 2021 and 2022 as if we won the conference, won the title because we had easy schedules.
Well, that's not what I intended.
Oh,
What
okay.
I'm trying to say is,
We're trying
no,
to get it
I'm not
correct.
saying. No, I'm not
Let him
saying.
up, coach. Let him up.
I'm not saying y'all got to the playoffs simply because you had an easy schedule. All I'm saying is, in the SEC, y'all typically don't have to navigate the harder teams.
The harder teams, there's only one other harder team, C-Walt, it's Alabama.
Well, on the occasion, it just the way it falls. The way it falls is on the occasional year that one of those other teams is actually pretty good. Y'all end up getting to skip them.
You mean like in 2023 when Ole Miss was really good and Missouri was really good?
Hold on a minute, too.
I don't think
will
Ole
say
Miss is
this.
a
Let
great
me hop in here for 1 second. Let me hop in here for just 1 second. C-Walt, you probably shouldn't say a whole lot because you've been in the ACC for a while now, bro.
Like for real, dog. Like, what are we talking about here?
So, granted,
it's just not true because the teams when they are good, like Tennessee was good last year, right?
Yeah, they were a pretty good team.
They were pretty good. Yeah.
They beat us.
Who else is outside of Tennessee and Alabama and LSU? Who was good in the SEC? And we played Alabama. We played LSU last year, by the way.
I mean, they were decent teams. There's nobody great.
That's what I'm saying. So you said we avoid the good teams, the other teams when they're good. When they're good.
Well, I'm not saying you avoided them on purpose. I'm just saying by chance. When some of those teams are good.
What teams did we avoid? What teams did we avoid? I'm just telling you, the teams that was good in 2023, we played them. The teams that was good in 2022, we played them.
Well, I'd have to go back and look at the schedule, but
that's what I'm saying. Like so in 2022, would you not say Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, and Georgia were the 4 best teams in the SEC?
Well, yeah, I mean that's typical every year, mostly.
Okay, so we played Tennessee and LSU, so we played 2 of the other 3. This year, it was Alabama, it was Georgia, it was Ole Miss, and it was Missouri. We played Ole Miss and Missouri. You see how that's what I'm saying.
But I'm watching. But here's the thing: when I'm watching like a team like Ole Miss, I don't think they're near as good as the way they've been ranked all season. Yeah, they got 2 losses. They were in the SEC.
It's not about where they're ranked. You said the harder teams in the conference. Who in the conference was better than Ole Miss?
Well, I think the conference was down as a whole. So Ole Miss.
So now you're changing what you're saying. You're saying that we didn't play the harder teams in the conference. It's not about whether or not the conference is the best conference. You said we don't play the harder teams inside the conference. That's what you said. But we actually do play the harder teams inside the conference. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll let you roll with that, Coach.
You ain't got to roll with it. It's fact.
The bell just rang. No more punches. No more punches.
I hear you.
All right. You guys are funny, man. Hey, we're going to welcome into the show our boy Cody from Locked On Oklahoma State.
Hey, buddy.
Cody. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, Cody?
Hey, fellers. I'm just, I'm just over here living the dream, trying to figure out how in God's purple earth Mizzou came up with Texas A&M money. Yeah, it's good times. Good times.
Hey,
I'll just be real. I only came on here to let your audience know that I like big butts. I'm not even really gonna lie about it no more.
Oh well, good. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you decided to make that clear to everybody.
I mean, I'm here. I'm only here for y'all.
Yeah, I get it, man. So Texas A&M money. Yeah, I don't know that they have that. I think that they bought 3 players. I think that's what they got, and I think
dude,
they had a whack schedule.
They had a whack last year too.
Huh?
They paid big money somehow last year at the same exact time as well. And then even the year prior, they grabbed a few players. They weren't paying big boy money, obviously, but
they got Luther Burden. Now they have Caden Green, and they have Williams Winery coming in this class apparently. But I mean, and they're okay. I mean, they're okay, but they're not They're not recruiting on the same level that Texas A&M is recruiting on. Let's not get crazy here.
Now, they brought Toriano Pride in also from Clemson. Now, I'm not going to say it's a huge
Toriano
get
Pride. They did get Toriano Pride.
Look, I figured he was gone anyways. I don't think that's a huge get, honestly, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, I mean, you know, I think that there's the problem with, and I think that we can go there with, we can go ahead and kind of move towards Clemson since we're, you know, I pulled Coach up, Coach I, but I mean, look, Clemson and Dabo is not making it better. And I wanted to talk about the video that you put up, talking about their lack of, I mean, well, he dabbled in the transfer portal this year, and how did that go?
Yeah, so look, at least we made an attempt, right? Clemson obviously needs offensive linemen. The O-line needs to level up. And we also need D linemen in the portal, right? We've got 3 D linemen leaving. One's probably transferring out. We're going to have maybe 5 scholarship guys after the recruiting cycle's over. So with that being said, Dabo and the staff reached out to 3 linemen, Alan Heron, Keelan Rutledge, and Addison Nichols. Both 3 linemen. Well, 2 of them didn't even make it to campus. Now Dabo, he says that, you know, they pride themselves on evaluation, and when they evaluate somebody they want, they go get them. I didn't see that happen in this portal cycle. You had 2 guys commit to other schools, Georgia Tech and Arkansas,
right? What the hell?
and Penn State. So it's like, okay, Nichols actually made it to campus, left, made his decision. You know, if Clemson's going to go after somebody, if you're only going after this many folks, and you're wanting 1 or 2 of them, you have the money to compete to get that guy. I don't care what you say, you know. And on the other side of the ball, defensive end, like I said, we usually keep, I think it's 8 or 9 scholarship defensive ends, and we've only got maybe 4 to 5 coming back. So, and you've got,
how many did you lose to the portal total?
Which position, or just everybody?
Everybody?
I believe it's 8 or 9 right now.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we lost, you know, a quarterback, lineman, Bo Collins to Notre Dame, Toriano Pride to Missouri, and then you lost Makuba to Texas.
Right. That sucks.
It does, but
you lost freaking job, C-Walt. Jeez.
My whole point, and then you saw the little Twitter, you know, the X thing earlier with whoever that guy was, and I don't think he was getting my point, man. It's, you know, I'm not asking Clemson to get out there and try to outbid everybody for all these big name guys, right? But you have obvious holes you have to freaking fill right now, especially on the O-line and defensive end, and we haven't heard a single name on the defensive end, in the defensive end room, and tomorrow's the day, right? I mean, so
yeah,
it ought to be interesting come signing day tomorrow.
No defensive ends coming in this class, just Sammy Brown and
well, so recruiting, we have Darian Mayo coming in.
Okay,
but that's 1 guy, but you're losing 4. You know, you had Ojebwe transfer out to, I believe, Pitt. I think he said he was going to Pitt today. And then you've got Xavier Thomas and Justin Maskell, both super seniors. They're gone. And Xavier Patterson, I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't in the portal 2 years ago, honestly. So that's another guy I don't expect to be there after the bowl game. On the offensive line, unless Dabo's talked some guys into staying, I could see John Williams and Brian Tucker leaving the program. So we've got holes on offensive line and defensive end we have got to fill, and it doesn't look like we're filling them.
Right. Yeah, that makes wow. Well, and that's, I mean, my thing is, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I mean, I know Cody has the same feelings because Mike Gundy's been the same way, kicking, screaming the whole way with the, you know, whether it be the portal and particularly with any NIL stuff. And it makes it impossible. Look, you've got to do this. This is college football today. And this is why I'm not upset about Caden Green. I think that he made a mistake. I just showed you guys the list of offensive linemen in the league right now that were all first or second round draft picks. There's 11 of them, or 10 of them, and an 11th one that was a third round pick that's still in the league. I mean, they get it done on the O-line. That was a mistake on his part. You could have ended up back at KC because, Reed loves Oklahoma linemen. So, it made a little more money than what you're making at freaking Mizzou. I don't know what it finally is, but it is what it is. But phone's tripping, huh, Coach? Okay. In the end, you have to get up with the times. And it doesn't bother me because right now this is the correct. It's an overcorrection of what's been going on all this time. But the NCAA and these schools have made so much money off the backs of these players for decades. And, only the elite few were getting shared, and it was bullshit. You know what I mean? It was, they weren't allowed to do it, but they were paying the certain guys. Everybody should have been getting paid. They're making billions. And I'm sorry, but until they start doing revenue share of all these billions, you're not going to have any control over these kids leaving.
So just check this out a second. Clemson could have gotten Nichols if, I assume, and we're all making assumptions here, that they really put the NIL money up there for an offensive lineman, right? Okay, so when people bash Dabo for not embracing NIL, it's not wrong, and I've got proof it's not wrong. Obviously, I'm not going to say who this is,
right?
But this is a kid his father. He's committed to an SEC school. Clemson was a big player in his recruitment, and I just happened to know him, and I was kind of trying to figure out what Clemson's NIL was really like. So this is what he says to me, and it's not breaking his cover or anything, but he says, I can try my best to give you what I know. But yeah, their NIL was going to cost them and their program to diminish in the next 2 years. They're so far away and they haven't followed suit at all. Come on, man. If one recruit's saying that, multiple recruits' families are saying that.
Right. So they're just not playing the game. Well, I mean, Gundy at the first of the year met with all the boosters. Tell the story, Cody. I mean, same kind of deal.
Well, he was voluntold how NIL was going to work from here on out because he did avoid it for as long as physically possible. Right. And then
he wanted more money put into the facilities and things like that. And he didn't want to pay these kids. Why would you do that?
He just thought it should be more of an individualistic basis as opposed to a tiering system. And basically he got told by Oklahoma State, folks with a purpose, that it was going to be a tiering system and that's just how it was going to be. And X, Y, and Z players would fall into these tiers, and he needed to get behind it because it was going to be important. And that was while we were 2-2, right? So the beauty of that is Gundy was forced to embrace it to some degree, and the staff, he is thanked multiple times for being on the cutting edge floor of doing some of the, scouting development or evaluations of some of the potential transfer portal guys. So yeah, our staff was fortunately good enough to bail us out last year. This year he's come around, which is why we only have six players really leaving thus far.
Right. So, and I wasn't talking about this year. I'm talking about obviously when you go in there and you lose to South Alabama bad like that. I mean, I think the writing was on the wall that either handle this and fix this stuff or we got a problem, Coach. Mm-hmm. At some point, somebody at Clemson is going to have this chat with Dabo.
Oh, yeah,
I was under the impression that Dabo kind of got on board with their transfer portal last year. Was that more just coach speak than anything, or what?
I mean, so they offered a lineman, didn't work out.
Keep going. You keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, they shout out to Buc-ee's.
Shout out to Buc-ee's.
Shout out to Buc-ee's. Yeah, so and then they brought in a transfer graduate quarterback, to back up and be a mentor to Cade. But outside of that, last year Clemson really, truly did not have the scholarships to jump in the portal. They had so many guys come back. They really didn't have the space. The year before, they tried to go after the lineman from Virginia. He went to Michigan. I can't say his last name. Started with an A, I think, or an O. But outside of that, and they brought Hunter Johnson back a couple years ago. Paul Tyson last year. Sorry, but outside of that, they haven't, really embraced it at all. I mean, Dabo says I'm not against the portal, but I want to build my program with the recruits. That's great. I get it. Here's where I think the problem's going to be. He may be able to use NIL to get some bigger names on occasion, right? Like your Sammy Browns, your Bryant Wescos. But what I've noticed, especially with this recruiting class, is those mid-tier depth guys, based off of just film I've watched and kind of seen, star ratings aren't everything, right? But those
Exactly.
mid-tier depth guys don't look near as strong as the classes in the past. And I think that has to do with Clemson's approach to NIL for those guys. And I think it's going to hurt them in the long run if they don't figure out a way to you also in this exchange with the person I know, they made it the point to say Clemson has, they're still trying to recruit off of this clout they had from winning championships, and recruits aren't buying that anymore. So,
Right.
Well, some of that couldn't some of that be the ACC? Obviously, the decision that was put forth in regards to Florida State, I think, was pretty much an indictment on the ACC as a conference. Do you think perception from a recruiting perspective could definitely have a hand in that as well, or not so much about the conference?
I mean, yeah, it could, obviously, but I don't know. That's a funny one to answer.
And when you got schools like we're talking about Florida State, we're talking about Clemson, these are rich schools. I mean, you look at
last Clemson, they're not rich.
Nobody has freaking the facilities that Clemson has. Nobody. That could include Oregon. Okay, they got it all there. They've got the hookup, and that's awesome. But the kids don't give a shit. They're watching other kids get paid all over the country. They're watching other kids able to play all over the country, and now they want their chance to do it too. I was watching the podcast on the Prairie. Danny Stutzman was in there last week talking with. He was talking to Jay Hall and then obviously Kanak, and he was saying, "Look, I would have gotten more money to leave here, and that's the way it works. Like if you're at a place like Clemson." You can automatically, even if you don't play, you're going to demand six figures and get it everywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State is your quintessential spot where you take a bunch of 2-star, 3-star guys, put them through the developmental process. By the junior, senior year, they're big time style of guys.
Those days are over, though.
Yeah, exactly. Kids aren't wanting the red shirt and then hang out 2-3 more years.
That's where Clemson's failing, in my opinion.
That's it. And on top of that, you're not recruiting with those old national championships anymore. And guess what? Neither is Alabama.
Yeah.
Neither is Alabama. Alabama has had to evolve just like everybody else. You got to do it. I know when Coach Venables got here, I think that he kind of shared a lot of the same feelings that what Dabo had. It was let know, and I don't know, how much he kicked and screamed about it. I think he realized it pretty soon. You just look. I've said this a bunch of times, and I'm going to say it one more time. You're not putting the toothpaste back in the freaking tube on this shit. And you've heard Dabo say it so many times that I'll just quit coaching. Then if I don't want to do it this way, I'll quit coaching. Well, then get the hell out of here. What are we waiting on?
Yeah, I felt this portal cycle was a half-hearted approach. I got bashed on Twitter for it, but that's what do they say perception is? Perception is what?
It's reality.
Reality, right?
It's reality, bro.
So when you see what they're doing in the portal, they haven't got anybody. Dabo's approach toward it has been, standoffish at best. The perception is reality. He's, not really I don't think they're putting the effort in that Clemson needs at this point. It's not like we're a 13-0, 12-1, 11-2 type team. I mean, we're 8-4. we have holes, we have problems, and we didn't do anything to fix them. Maybe I'm surprised tomorrow, but at this point, I'm willing to bet I won't.
We can look at the. I mean, let's look at the rankings so far with what they have on commitments, and I know they were up there, but I mean, look, guys, there's no way in hell that you can continue. Look, everybody else. If I don't think that you can run a program simply on the portal. I think that what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado is for a short period of time. If he continues trying to do this year after year, it's not going to work. You have to develop. And you need to get the best players out of high school and get them into your program. Money wise, you got to. And I'm not saying that you have to be Texas A&M and Jimbo, where you're looking at the freaking recruiting rankings like what we're about to do right now, and saying just go pay them all, right? But you cannot tell me that Clemson belongs at number 17 in recruiting on 3.
It's that NIL approach, man.
There is no way that's like okay with it. There's no way.
So this guy that I was going back and forth with on Twitter, am I supposed to be happy that Clemson has struck out in the portal
right
so far to this point, and that we flipped
just
to
put you in on this will make you feel much better. South Carolina is only 2 spots behind you, bro, in recruiting.
and then we flip to App State kids. Am I supposed to be happy about that as a Clemson fan?
Good.
That we're flipping App State kids. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzy that we're hitting it on all cylinders in recruiting, man.
I get it, bro. Look, man, I don't care. Even those App State kids, they have been at Clemson. Next year, they're in the portal going somewhere else and getting
exactly. And then we won't use the portal to replace them, and that cycle will continue because Dabo believes he's going to be able to get guys there 3-4 years.
And newsflash, they deserve the money too. You know what? The money that you make at that school, the money that you make at, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, all these Power 5 conference schools, you got to pay these kids, man. I understand that some can afford more than others, but you better get ready because this is what it is now. And it's not fair to sit here and look, I understand it sucks the way it's going down when you get a guy that you want them to be, you want them to show that they are dedicated to your program and that they're loyal to you. Well, the school has to show loyalty also. And I'm not talking about the Caden Green situation. I think it's clear that there was some other stuff at play there. And it's not always going to work out. And if that's all they're about is the money, then you don't want them anyway. Right? I think that this is the situation with Caden Green and Williams Nwaneri and Missouri, by the way. And I've been talking about Missouri, but it's a one-off when it comes to Oklahoma. You're not going to see Missouri beating Oklahoma on the recruiting trail very often. Maybe in Missouri because they're homegrown kids and you need to win your state. You should win your state, right? If you can do that, fine. But are they going to go out there and out-recruit everybody in the state of Florida? No. Are they going to come over to Texas and get all those kids out of Texas? No. It's not happening, right? It's just it is what it is. But in the end, look, that's a one-off situation and you can only do what you can do about it. And if they go, they go. So be it. But you have to be willing to turn around and replace them with somebody else. Oklahoma's done that. They went and got some kids from Michigan State. There's a one kid for sure, and it looks like you're probably going to have a couple more. They've got the kid coming from, it looks like the guy from North Texas who's a stud and played for Coach Luttrell already. I mean, there's a lot of, okay, now here we go again. I'm going to have to re-explain all this to everybody, folks. The NIL is not a salary from the school.
Yeah, but it could be
at this
if
point,
we move to this new subdivision.
It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be, guys.
It should be at this point.
But that's if you want to be able to have any kind of control whatsoever on player movement or any of this stuff, then you have to start sharing some of the cash. And I'm going to tell you, folks, this is not what the schools want. This is not what the NCAA wants. They have all kinds of people lobbying Congress to Keep that shit down. No, we don't want that. That's not what they want. They're making billions off of these television contracts and this new playoff system, and they don't want to share it with those kids. They would rather allow boosters and whoever and fans to pay the salary that, and then they control it. And that's unofficially controlling it. Now, another thing, something that I saw in the Discord earlier, this injunction that apparently came down, I think that is done. There is no more controlling it, period. You can't say you can only transfer once for free. Not happening. That's not happening anymore. That judge came down with that injunction. That set precedent. The NCAA knows they have no leg to stand on. None.
You know what? I think the best route long term for the universities, honestly, is to allow these guys to collectively bargain and have a set of guidelines and negotiate.
Yep.
Personally, I mean,
collective bargaining. That's where, and you're fixing to get there anyway.
Yeah.
Look, it's a matter of time. You've got you've got lawsuits on the books in California. I think there's another one in Illinois. The Northwestern kids are all over that stuff. This is going to happen. There's going to be collective bargaining soon. And really, all the bitching that the Florida State folks have done about the playoff and getting screwed and blah, 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 and you've even had their attorney general. I was watching Andy Staples. I thought it was a freaking great video. He went and talked to a guy that had been in politics in Florida, and now he's working through the NIL, some NIL collective of some kind, and he asked him, how would you be able to do this or fix this? And he said the only way is that you get the lawmakers to make a law that the bowls in Florida can now pay the players, because that would be attractive to those schools. Mm-hmm. And now everybody would do it, because
there's going to have to.
Otherwise, every bowl in Florida is going to get every good game.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something federally, but you've got too many states, too many moving pieces going on, and it's from a roster management standpoint. If these guys start collective bargaining, that becomes a contract and a scholarship to say you can't leave for a certain amount of time, and roster management becomes 20 times easier.
Listen, and I mean, there's going to be, but it's all going to have to be bargained for, and you're going to have to cut up some of the cash that's been going to the schools and the NCAA up until this point. Look at we're just talking about football right now, but look at the basketball tournament. We're talking about 1 month out of the year that people pay attention to the shit, and they make billions. The NCAA tournament, huge, right?
Yep.
It's unbelievable. You don't have a single conference at this moment getting paid for their regular season action to be on television. It's all part of the football contracts or whatever. I know Brett Yormark is working towards that. It's insanity that it hadn't already been happening, right? In the end, look, guys, all this money is not getting shared all the way down. And so to take the side of these schools, I understand we love our schools, we love our programs. I'm not taking the side of schools against players anymore. Not doing it, man. Just not doing it. And I don't know that a salary cap is going to be something that comes in right away. I just don't see it happening. There's going to continue, and there's going to, just because they do revenue share or whatever, doesn't mean you're going to fix it all either. I'm saying,
even if they do revenue share, that'll have nothing to do with the additional donor style of contributions, anyways. So
correct. No, and nor should it. I mean, look, guys, professionals, the guys in the NFL, they can do commercials, and there's no cap on that.
Yeah, my whole point with collective bargaining and contracts is simply for roster management standpoint. That gives a staff an ability to keep a team intact. Yeah, you can go get your NIL, you can get your deals, whatever, but we need the ability to be able to manage our rosters effectively.
Of course.
It's a two-way deal, man,
Yeah, and I could see that if you do, what Jeff has up here. $50,000 and you've got 85 players that get that. That's the minimum, right? And that would be great for a lot of college kids. Shawty, how would you like that? That's $4.25 million. That ain't shit at some of these schools. Mike Gundy ain't won a damn conference, but one conference title, and he makes twice that. Had to do it, bro. Sorry. But let's just be real. $4 million a team. $4 million a team. I mean, come on. And look, you sign a deal there. There you're signing with the program, with the school, but now you get protection as an employee. That's another thing they don't want. Look, guys, this is not because the players are out of control. This is because the schools are refusing to do what's right. That's it. They're refusing to do what's right. I don't blame these kids for moving around. Do I like the way that what happened with Caden Green? No. But here's another thing I'm going to tell you guys. All this crap, you keep going after these freaking kids. And I'm not saying you as in anybody in here. I know you guys are not crazy like some of the fans at Oklahoma. But this attacking Dylan Gabriel because the rumor is out there that he approached Caden Green. And then you got, I swear, if it's not freaking Parker and Brandon, then it's the guys over at freaking Sooner Scoop. What the hell is wrong with all these guys?
State fans did it to Spencer Sanders too.
They're so interested in being the guy that gave you the damn story that they just report whatever the shit they want. I don't understand it. And you know what the hell you're doing when you do that. If you're Parker and you put that stupid picture up there of Art Briles, you knew what you were doing. That you were going to get Jeff Lebby attacked by the fans of the school. You knew what you were doing.
Hey, so Shawty, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Shawty, there you go, manage rosters effectively. Sounds like control again. Well, I mean, that's part of the deal. That's, I understand players getting their portion.
If you're going to get part of the money, if you're going to get revenue share, then there's going to be stipulations to it. That's what collective bargaining is. That's what collective bargaining is. You know that. But at least
3 years, okay,
that, right?
There's always going to be some form of control in capitalism.
Hey, man, don't be calling him that, man. That's our boy, Cody. Don't be that rough on my guy.
All good, man. All good.
How many years donors pay billions and get nothing in return? No, they're not gonna, because you know why? Because they're not getting anything in right now. NIL, you have to understand this is an endorsement deal, at least that's what it's supposed to be. That you get endorsements to these kids that can help sell your product for your company. They do need to get a return on it. But if you're given, some of these schools have misused what it was supposed to be. There are no freaking rules on it, So, look, no. Most people only look at it from a win from my team standpoint. Man, NIL is changing lives. So, I'm not saying to take away NIL. That's not, what I just said. What I'm telling you is if you want to be able to contractually hold somebody to your school for X amount of time, then you got to pay for that, right? You're going to have bonuses just like they do in the NFL. When you make the playoff, you get X amount of money. You get this. This is your contract. This is what you've done. You can renegotiate after X amount of time. This is all collective bargaining. And if you want a revenue share, you need to get your house in order if you're that school, and you need to make that happen. That's fine. And at that point, hey, look, now we're doing the grown-up game.
Yeah.
Now we're doing the grown-up game. So that's when I'm not talking about control. The NFL has control over its players too. It has they have a contract with those players. Now, it kind of sucks in the NFL for some of those guys because the league, the owners don't have to honor the contract anything past the signing bonus. They can cancel their deal anytime they want to. You get hurt, bye. You got what you got with your signing bonus, unless you're Deshaun Watson.
Definitely don't like the direction it's going, but if it's we were just talking about, right, the differentiation between Dabo Swinney and Mike Gundy, and there's actually a lot of differences as approaches to NIL. But it doesn't matter if you like the direction that the game's going. You got to get in front of it, right? I mean, you just and I do think that Charlie Baker, the new NCAA president's recent conversations in regards to potentially getting to this subdivision thing where it's just like the top 40, 50-ish schools in the country that all get over $100 million a year, and anybody who does not it falls by the wayside. As much as I think it's terrible, it's the way we're going. So the collective bargaining agreement, the NFL business model, and the different divisions, and having 30, 40 teams. If that's the way it's going to go, then you have to be catering your university to set yourself up to have the most opportunities to be part of that club. And it's if the ACC were to fall apart today, from what I've gathered, there's teams like Clemson that may not have anywhere to go, which to me is absolutely preposterous to think about Clemson not being part of that crew.
They're going to have somewhere to go because they're a power.
They should, but I'm saying it's preposterous that people have even pitched that Clemson might get left out. That's just ridiculous to me. Clemson's not Oregon State. They're not Washington State.
And they shouldn't have got left out either. That's the most stupid shit I've ever even heard of. But we're headed in that direction. Cody, you sent me a message that you got to get. So,
the old lady's yelling, and I hear the dogs going crazy. So something happened.
Okay. Well, before you get in trouble and she's yelling at you, let me let you get out of here. Tell everybody how to find you. And we got to get together on some stuff here coming up.
We do have a lot of stuff coming up. Obviously, everybody, you can go check me out on my daily show, Locked On Oklahoma State. Also, I'm doing the 7 on, 11 off. I'll be going from Texas, California, Colorado, Mississippi, just covering high school football and doing some evaluations. So I'll be kicking off that show a little bit more as time goes on. That'll be a weekly deal. But yeah, we definitely got to get together on that. Catch me on Twitter at AllDayOState.
Will do, brother. Thanks a lot for joining us. I appreciate your insight on a lot of that stuff, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Heck yeah. Thanks, brother. Oh, and by the way, that was my roundabout way of saying we'll get together, buddy, because I think Clemson should be in the Big 12. But what I know.
You're hoping. That's hopium right there. That's hopium.
Hey, man, if you can give me Clemson and Miami into the Big 12, I'm a happy sumbitch, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could see him more in the
Shawty, I had you in, but you were muted just because it was making some weird background noise. Come on back in. I want to hear what you got to say. Okay, we lost Cody. Okay. All right. Look, guys, the bottom line is this idea. Stop letting the NCAA and these stop letting these schools talk you into that they're in the right and that it's the kids that are wrong when they want to leave or they want to transfer. That's not the case, man. That's not the case. And as far as it goes, I mean, I think that there's situationally things can be different, not always is. We're not talking about the same thing all the time. Sometimes things go down like what happened with Caden Green. Do I necessarily hate the kid for doing it? No. I think good for him. And hey, look, if you wanted to be home, go be home. I understand that. If you don't want to be a part of the program, do you really want that kid there? If they're unhappy being a member of your football team, do you really want him there? No, you don't. That doesn't help your program. That doesn't help the culture in the locker room, which is what it's really all about, folks.
Yeah, listen, my views have changed a lot over the last couple of years. I'm a traditionalist by nature, and look, the game's changed. It's either I change with it or it leaves me behind too. So,
yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's like I said, and look, man, I've never been a huge Dabo Swinney fan. I'll just be real with you. But this stuff right here has really turned me off of the dude, because he literally dug his feet in and told that guy, I mean, now the guy that called him on the show, I mean, that was ballsy and probably a little much. But the more you think about that phone call, that kid had a reason to say what he said.
He was 100% right on most everything, honestly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
why are we paying you this much money? And it's not about the record per se, but it's because you don't care about the record moving forward. You just want to live off of what you did before. Why is it that coaches don't have to get paid on what they're going to do for you now, not what they did in the past?
So here's what really aggravated me.
Go ahead.
This is what really aggravated me with Dabo. Dabo says, you know, basically, I'm not beholden to you, the peon, the fan. I'm beholden to the folks that pay me. Well, wait a minute.
That's
Clemson
the fans,
University.
That's
Clemson
the fans.
University gets a lot of taxpayer money. That's the people paying your salary, man. You're a state employee.
It's not a private school, bro. It's not a private school. It's a state university.
Could he have done it differently? Yeah, of course. But he wasn't wrong, you know, at all.
You do have to let them go and move on. And that's the whole point. But what the point is that, look, this idea that, and look, I mean, you know, they're making grown man decisions when they do that, because as we've talked about before, about 60% up until this point, and I think the number is probably going to go down. 60% of kids that end up in that portal never come out. They never play football again. They're done.
It's a chance.
It's a chance you take. Now, if you we're not the schools that we follow and that we're talking about is not, if you listen to what Danny and Jaron said the other day, that's not the case. If you were at Oklahoma, you're going to go play somewhere. I mean, and that makes plenty of sense. But if you're a Division II kid or one, even if you had a monster year as a FCS kid, you better make sure that somebody's been tampering, quote unquote tampering, which I think that's a stupid word. It's just a word at this point. Tampering doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, it's common. Because, you know, it's not even a thing.
Look, does it suck? Yeah. Does it suck that you've got coaches over there tampering with your kids? Of course it does, because they use other kids to do it. All the more reason that you need to put a handle on that kind of stuff, and that no matter who it is coming from that school making phone calls like that, you can't do that, or else, you know, that's when you're able to step in, because you know what? They're an employee of ours. We have a contract with them. Now, and you start throwing lawsuits at other schools because they're screwing around with the contracted player, that's different. The contracts that they're signing right now, though, guys, are for NIL, which is for endorsements or being a creator, or, you know, basically an influencer, endorsing, same kind of stuff, but it's just different nowadays. They call it influencer because you're doing it everywhere. You're using your visibility as an athlete and on social media to sell products for people. So there is a quid pro quo here, or at least there's supposed to be, you know, but you can't do anything about it. In the end, that contract is between whoever it is that's paying them to endorse their products and influence and be an influencer for their products, and the player. It's supposed to not have anything to do with the school, although we already know that that's not the case, but officially it is. So there's no way to control any of this. And to be honest with you, they're still not going to have a ton of control. You're going to have to collectively bargain it. And in order to do that, you got to give up probably half of your cash to the players. That's what the NFL does. It's 51-50. 51% goes to the players, 50% goes to the league.
I think over time you would get there. I don't think it immediately would be that
a while.
split,
it would take a while, but they don't want to give
them
shit. They don't want to give them shit.
Yeah. And that's the thing with collective bargaining. If you know a lot about it, that's what happens. You know, it never goes lower. It's always going to go higher.
Of course. Yeah. And you're going to have the companies are out to get you. I mean, they're out to be as profitable as they could possibly be. Yeah. And the schools have to turn a profit. But I mean, come on, folks, let's not act like these schools haven't. Now, not every school is the same. You know, Kerwin, you went to Prairie View, it's not the same thing. We know that. But when we're talking about Clemson and Alabama and Oklahoma and Texas and, Georgia, you're making money. Florida State, Miami, Florida. The list goes on, folks.
I've been told people don't make money at Clemson, and Clemson doesn't bring in any revenue.
Oh, of course.
They have no NIL.
I'm looking at that stadium right behind you, and it's full every damn Saturday.
They don't make money.
How much is the ticket cost? What's your average ticket? Do you have season tickets, or what do you do?
I don't, but I did look at some, and Upper Deck was about $280.
$280 a game.
A seat, yeah, $280 a seat.
Yeah,
per game.
So if you've got basically 6 games at home, generally 5-6 games at home, right?
Yeah, it would be more like 8, I believe.
Maybe 8 games. Okay. So you're at a couple of thousand a seat, and that's in the NFL. Of course, you got seat licenses and all that other shit. It costs a lot more money. But hey, man, we're talking. You ever notice that when you buy a ticket like that it'll say something like $35 or $50 or some shit like that, and you just paid $500 for it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, everybody's making a lot of money on it, except for the kids that are out there on the field putting asses in the seats and jerseys on the backs of all the players or all the people in the stands too. Right? It's just wild, right? It's only a 40,000 stadium. Is that what I don't think that's right. What is Clemson's got more than that?
Oh, yeah. I believe it's
like
80 something, 80, 86, 88, something like that. Yeah. Maybe 83, somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah. Listen, man. All I'm saying, and I'm going to get off this subject because it irritates me, but this is what it is. Title IX will have to share with most school football, bringing in the money. Yeah. I get it, bro. I get it. That's still, they could afford it or else it wouldn't be going down. And this idea that you're going to have to start kicking away these Title IX schools, or, you're not going to pay for this sport or that sport or blah, blah, blah. That's a law. That's a law.
They're going to
just get to freaking kick that shit to the side. But this is why they don't want to share revenue, man. This is why. And it's healthier than it's ever been. It's getting healthier by the day. What do you think the next contract's going to be in 2026 when they decide to go to 16 playoff teams? Holy crap. The SEC and Big Ten are already going to be making $100 million a year. What's it going to be in 2026? We're talking 2 years. Or, after the next contract's up or whatever. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get freaking crazy. Hey, I'm glad you learned some new shit today. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Look, bottom line is I just hope that everybody does understand that the NIL is, first off, it's not what it was intended to be. NIL isn't, basically look at it as an endorsement for companies. Yes, the schools are controlling it unofficially, but that's not what it really is. They can decide who gets what or whatever, so they're not screwing up their team, I guess. But in the end, I don't know how you get control over that either if you're a coach or anybody else. That's wild to me, right? And what we do know is this: the NCAA's teeth, they're gone. That injunction that happened, they said 2 weeks to start with, within 2 days, and now this is it. You can get in the portal when the portal opens. It doesn't matter if you've already transferred. And newsflash, this has been going on too. Look at freaking JT Daniels. That dude was at freaking 4 schools in 4 years. Yep. Same with that kid. Same with that kid out of Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. Same thing. Went to Ohio State, Miami.
What was his name?
Oh man, if I wasn't trying to remember it, I would remember.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Signing day. It starts at 4:30 a.m. Central Time Zone tonight. Wow. Yep. Yeah, let's talk about signing day. Who are now? Sammy Brown, obviously, and is it a Wesco? Brian Wesco, right?
Brian Wesco.
That's their big time. They definitely need to make sure they get Wesco because the receivers have struggled, man. Right?
Yeah, so we've also got TJ Moore coming in.
TJ,
To
yeah.
be honest, man, I like TJ Moore early over West Coast skill set right now, as far as maybe helping the offense or the receiving room.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
This class, man, it's been a struggle. Does that make sense? Like as a fan, I'm not used to
Well,
seeing.
they're not wanting to play the game. I mean, it's just
I'm with you. Like I said, you may throw the NIL for Sammy Brown and Wesco, but those roster builder guys, they're not committing like they were a few
heart and
years
soul of your
ago.
football team too, right? Yeah, Tate
Yeah,
Martell.
yeah.
Thank you, Bumbo, my man.
Yes, Tate Martell.
Tate Martell from Bishop Gorman. That's correct. I used to live right down the street from Bishop Gorman. Yep, Tate. He played with Snoop Dogg's kid too. Snoop Dogg. I saw Snoop Dogg at a couple of those games. Yeah, listen, man. I'm going to tell you, it's you have to play the game in order to do it. But you're right. Those guys, that's the heart and soul of your football team. Your 3 stars and those dudes that aren't going to get that kind of money. And this is where that's your league minimum, just like you have in the NFL. You've got to do that. And I think that they are working towards doing some of that anyway. But look, when you break into that starting lineup, now it goes up to the next tier, and you got to, look, they're trying their asses off to keep it from being what it really is, which is pay for play. But you're going to have to do it in order to, if you ever want to be able to even kind of have any control over player movement, this is what you have to do. That's what you have to do, man. Remember to wipe your feet. Hey, you out of here, chicken? Thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate it.
But as far as like Clemson specifically tomorrow, man, I think one of the bigger gets is going to be Darian Mayo, defensive end. Dude had a ridiculous senior season, and that's a position we need some help for sure.
Uh-oh. We got our first Mizzou guy in here. Is that what this is? Shane. First of all, nobody in here is crying about Mizzou or about paying the players or any of that shit, first and foremost. Number 2, enjoy this one and Williams-Winery, and then get ready for your ass whipping in November. It's coming. It's coming. Clown. Nobody's crying about him. Hey, and nobody's crying about the guy. We don't care. Look, if he wanted to be home, that's where he should be. Period. That's exactly what I've been saying. I don't know where you Missouri folks think you all of a sudden think that you are Georgia, Alabama, or even Tennessee. You're not. It's the first time in 10 years you've won 10 games. What are we talking about? Clown.
Hey, Stephen G. I think Clemson holds on to Wesco, man. I don't see a flip, but you never know what could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to flip that one so bad? Yeah, he's a stud. But here's the thing, that the one places that, look, man, if I want to flip anybody, really, it's defensive line guys, edge rushers, D-line, O-line. Love to get those dudes. Yeah, what a clown. What a clown. I love guys like this when they come in here thinking they know what we're talking about. We were actually just talking about the fact that schools are going to have to figure it out and start paying these kids instead of just thinking that they're going to go get an NIL guy or, boosters to pay for all this shit anymore. They're getting all this money for being in these big time conferences. They need to start paying it out to the players. Period. We're not even talking about it. We could care less. Mm-hmm. Facts. Yeah, pay those dues while you can. Until you better start. Look, man, when you let's see, where was that thing at? I was gonna pull that up at some point. I figured I'd get somebody in here. Just knew I would. So all-time record, Oklahoma 67-24 all-time. That's in 5 ties way back in the day. Longest win streak, Oklahoma 14. Was Mizzou's won twice in a row one time. Then yeah. All-time record, Oklahoma has a 72% win percentage all time. That's 5th in the country. Mizzou comes in at 63rd. What are we talking about, bro? Get out of here. These guys are something else. Okay. Coach I, how's the QB room at UGA? Starting to run a little thin in there, isn't it, Coach? Yeah, these guys are fully. Who are you talking to, Derek? I thought. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Yes, Mizzou's best season was 2007, and they lost twice to Oklahoma. Yeah, that was when they had Brad Smith, wasn't it? At quarterback, seems like.
Was that Chase Daniel?
07, Missouri.
I'm going to look it up.
Look this up, but let's do it. I think it was Brad Smith, but it could be. No, you're probably right, because I remember Chase Daniel was. I watched him. I covered him in high school when he was playing high school ball at South Lake Carroll.
Let's see.
I'm sure that they're already in there filling it up.
Yeah, Chase Daniel.
Who's taking that bet? Brian, you're going to take that bet? You've been talking a bunch of smack in here, Brian. Okay.
Yeah, I believe 07 was the year that they were battling with Kansas and Todd Reesing.
That's right. Oklahoma still beat them twice. What do you got? Best season they'd had since 1960. Best season they'd had since 1960. It was Chase, yeah. I remember seeing him at South Lake Carroll, man. That dude could fling it. He had a nice little career as a backup, too, in the league, didn't he? Oh, Chase.
Yeah, heck, he might still be playing, man. He was
could
around
be,
forever.
Chilling, man. He had made for sure. Yeah. Curtis Lofton punked him.
He plays for the Chargers right now.
You're kidding me, bro.
Yeah.
He's still in the league?
37 years old. That's Jason Garrett 2.0 right there.
That's awesome, bro. They were number 2 when they lost. Yes, I remember that. I do remember that. He is still playing. That's wild. That's wild. What a great career. I mean, he's only played a couple of games here and there.
I'll take it.
Nice long career. He's probably making $5-6 million a year at this point because it's just the, league minimum. Hey, Bishop Frank, what's up? Dude, are you seriously calling us jealous of Missouri? You're rutted scared? What does that mean? What does that mean? We're not jealous. Let me go here again. 0 national championships. Oklahoma has 7. 12 conference championships. The last one was in 1960, bud. We're jealous, you think? Oh, let him talk. 56 bowl games. That's 4th all time. Number 1 in Heisman winners was 7. 414 draft picks to your 226. You've had 2 total weeks at number 1 in your whole freaking history. Oklahoma's had 101. Shall I go on? Clown. Good grief. Okay. Yeah. Who are they after in the portal? Never. They've never won one. They've got one of those, like, I think it's that what do they call it? The one that UCF claims. They don't even claim it though. I'll give them that. Okay, Brian. I was like, no way you're talking that smack. I was like, wait, where did this happen? Yeah, nobody's gonna put a bet out there. That dude just keeps on jumping in here. I think he's having one of those moments. Triggered. I love this. They've got 2 unclaimed, but they don't need to claim them. One of them, I believe. Let me see. I was looking at it earlier. I don't care to look, man. They don't have any national titles, bro. They don't have any national titles. Let me just share this. I'll share the screen real quick and then we'll head on. Oops, my bad. Share screen. Also, there you go. Yep. Kind of Okie Lightish. It's kind of like the Okie Light one. Not quite as bad. Notice how he didn't say Georgia and Alabama will destroy OU. He didn't say Missouri was going to, though. Oh, Shane, are you upset? Blue blood versus Missouri version of Texas Tech. Yeah, pretty much. Okie Light, whatever. Yeah, I heard you the first time. All right. Y'all can boot this dude out. I'm done with him. All right, guys. Let's see. What else we got? What else we need to talk about? Okay, so obviously with your expected ones, look, I mean, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's going to get started. It's going to be a long day. I know you got to get out of here, man. C-Walt, man, I appreciate you coming in. I'm going to wrap up here too. I got to get, but I do appreciate you. I know you jumped in for a little longer than you said you were going to, so appreciate you, man.
Hey, man,
tell everybody how to find you, and hey, go check out his latest video, man. He's taking all Dabo to task, man, and he's a fan, so I got respect for that, man. Got respect.
Hey, man, appreciate you having me on. You can come check me out at 4th and Goal with C-Walt, Twitter, 4th and Goal with C-Walt, or at C-Walt the Realist. I know this is not a predominant Clemson base here, right? But still come over and check out the channel, man, and I look to put more general college football content out and not just focus on Clemson because I love college football in general. So that's where you can find me, and I'd appreciate it if you come check me out.
That's how we roll here too, man. We talk about it all. That's why we always hang around with Coach I, because even though they're Georgia guys, we talk about it all. So
one more thing. Hey, Coach, you got me this time. If you're on there, you got me this time. But hey, it's all love, and
it is all love
for that.
He loves it. Hey, man, yeah, you got to come out swinging a little harder, I think, next time.
Yeah, hey, wasn't prepared, that's all.
I wasn't either. I needed a break. That was awesome.
So
awesome
man.
Stuff. Man, we appreciate you coming on. C-Walt, the Realist, 4th and Goal with C-Walt. Make sure to get over there, check him out. Hey, he just started his channel. He got to his 50 subs quick. Let's get him to 100. Everybody jump over there and subscribe to his channel. He's putting out more content all the time. Encourage him to continue it on, man. This is the tough time right now. It goes quicker and quicker as you go, but keep hitting record, man. We appreciate it.
All right, appreciate that, Jason. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Later.
C-Walt the Realist. Love it, man. Love having the guys that we have on this show, man. I enjoy having all of them, man. From Coach I, and you know, this channel has brought us new friends and colleagues and stuff that I enjoy working with. I mean, all of them, even Okie like Cody. I know everybody likes to bust his chops a little bit. I bust his chops a lot, so it's all good. And he does the same, but we have a lot of fun. But you know, Coach I and Shawty and you know, hey, all the Hall of Fame Mafia, man. I love all you guys, man. It's awesome stuff. We appreciate that. Look for tomorrow. I told you guys, expect there's a possibility of a flipness gift on tomorrow on signing day. I'm excited about that. We'll see what happens with it. To be honest with you, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But it sounded like I saw a tweet from Stoney earlier, David Stone, that said, you know, he was excited about tomorrow too. Sounds like he's all the way in. And if that flip happens, you can thank him, guaranteed. So I think it's going to be awesome. Coach I and myself are going to do a show tomorrow night, same time, 8:30 Eastern time. We are going to have, and we're going to have a lot of guests on that one. So 8:30 Eastern time tomorrow night, live right here on Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. Coach may be with us as well. I hope he is. He wasn't able to do it tonight. They had another deal. But, hey, we're going to do SEC Media Days as well. Absolutely. Hey, we're working on all this stuff. There's some things that we are putting in place. Not just Coach I and myself. We're working towards some things. Same thing with Bomber, Big 12 Mafia, Cody. You know, there's some things that, you know, over this next year, I expect to see some big changes I think on all of our platforms. And so I'm here for it, man. I want all of us to do very well. Yeah, don't tell him I said so, but Cody's okay. Yeah. I don't tell him I say so either. But listen, man, to be honest, guys, I want to see this platform, Shawty, myself, Coach I, JJ, you know, any of these guys I work with. Bomber is another one of my favorite creators out here. Enjoy it, man. We enjoy working with all these guys and bringing on the guys that we do. And it's because of you guys that we do it, though. We really, really appreciate it. Jay, Jay and the, the Unfirst Sports guys, even PG. PG's growing on me some. You know, at first I didn't really like him. I like PJ, man. He's cool. But then, of course, Ty at around the table. And then, hey, man, I know that they're Florida dudes, but, the high top guys are awesome. They are awesome. Their show's awesome. And I just, Coos, I could just continue sitting here listing guys out that we've worked with and we've enjoyed working with them. They're awesome, right? And this is what we want. We want to bring you perspective. It's not just an Oklahoma channel. We want to talk about college football as a whole. This is what we do. You know, we love college football. We love the game. I love my Sooners as much as anybody in here. I guarantee it. But I also love college football as a whole. And this is what it's all about, right? Appreciate it, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Mike Wilkerson is going to be starting his platform up as well. Guys, again, my Hall of Fame Mafia family, you guys are why I'm still here doing it. There's been times that I almost stopped. And every time I have, there's always been some kind of sign or somebody said something that made me continue doing it. And I want to thank you all for that. And look, let me see exactly where we are in the I think we're still about 80 short maybe of 3,000, which, man, to me, that's huge. We've been just about a year and a half at this point. So we're at 29-22. So 78 away, guys. Share the stream with your friends. Anybody else who likes college football, make sure you get over there. Subscribe to Cody's new channel. Subscribe to C-Walt's channel. Subscribe to Coach I's channel if you haven't already. Shawty's channel. Shawty's channel's fun, man. You guys, if y'all aren't watching that, that's crazy, right? It's good stuff, a lot of fun. So make sure y'all do that. Guys, we're almost there to 3,000, and it's all because of you guys, and I appreciate that. All right? So, hey, we are going to Mizzou. Have a Merry Christmas, Mizzou, because next season you're going back to the bottom. Enjoy. That's the last I'm going to even mess with those guys. But, guys, I thank everybody for coming in here. We will see you tomorrow night. On both channels, Coach I's channel and this one right here. We're gonna break down National Signing Day for all the major programs in the country, winners, losers. We're gonna have some guys in here even from USC. I think USCJ is gonna join us as well. JJ, we got a lot of guys that are gonna be coming in. So make sure you show up, and we will see you then. Horns down.
Bye.